This video is brought to you by Shop Controller. Shop Controller handles all aspects of running an auto shop from appointment to invoice.
Manage jobs with custom workflows, statuses, and categories. It can help you get paid faster and gain access to accurate labor times.
Hundreds of shops use Shop Controller. Check them out in the link below.
Here we are to service. Woo!
It's time.
So it has the actual military Jeep configuration in the system case.
Pretty neat.
Where's that camera? We're gonna splash some oil out. Oh yeah, there we go.
Here's a question, I have to ask it. This is the gotcha question. Do you think a new Wrangler will also last 80 years like the old one? Case, what are we up to today?
We're on a pretty solid streak right now of doing some much needed maintenance to our classic vehicles, and this Jeep is next in line to get a little bit of service.
That's right, but of course we can't be trusted to turn a wrench ourselves, so where are we bringing our 1945 military Jeep?
We're gonna bring it to our local Jeep dealer, and just like with the Model T, we're gonna see if they'll help us out. I don't think this is the typical thing running through their showroom.
That's right, we're gonna ask them, see if our extended warranty is still valid after 80 years, and see if they can actually do some work on this World War II icon. So let's talk a little bit about what we're driving on the way over here.
Yeah, this is a 1945 Willys MB, so this is the iconic military Jeep. This is not a civilian Jeep made to look like a military Jeep. It's a real deal.
That's right, this is the Jeep that was deployed to Europe and the Pacific Islands during World War II. And this Jeep is pretty special because a lot of them were left over in Germany and in France and even in a lot of the Pacific Islands after the war, right?
Yeah, exactly. But this one actually has basically been in the States its whole life. This was used at a military base, wasn't it, in California?
You got it, actually in Michigan, and then sold to California. It's been just about perfectly restored to wartime specifications. So let's talk about what it's like to drive. What's the engine in this puppy?
Oh, it's the iconic Go Devil 4-cylinder. These are rev-happy little motors. They're unkillable. It's actually a flathead engine, and they're really cool. This whole vehicle weighs a little over 2,000 pounds. It's as simple as can be. And this motor was rebuilt not that long ago, but still think at this point we've got enough miles on this engine rebuild that is due for an oil change.
Yeah, for sure. It needs its annual service, and we're going to get it done in the same place where they service $125,000 brand new Wagoneers. Now, this engine is nicknamed the Go Devil. There's not a lot of go in this Devil by modern day standards.
No, especially up here at altitude, it's not fast. These were never fast. They're very light, but it's not a highway vehicle. This is awesome to drive around town to this day. They're super fun. They're still impressive off-road what they can do, but it's not great on the highway, and unfortunately between us and our local Jeep dealer, highway is what we got.
All right, hold on. I'm going to go full throttle. Are you ready? No, I'm already at full throttle.
Oh yeah, okay.
46 miles an hour.
Tell you what though, we're doing better than we have been in the Model T, because we're at least doing probably 40-ish.
So a modern Jeep has 280 horsepower. This one has 60.
Yeah.
So not a ton. And then this transmission has just 3 speeds. So once again, where a modern Jeep would have between 6 and 8, this one's just got 3 lonely gears.
Yeah, and I will say also, compared to some of our other vehicles, it is relatively modern because you drive it like a normal car, pedals and everything, transmissions all as it should be. But it still doesn't have doors, doesn't have seat belts. We got these little straps that kind of hold us in. We've got 1 mirror, 1 brake light, or does this one have 2?
No, we got 1. Yeah, look, I think the Jeep designers from a safety standpoint were benchmarking a horse. They're like, how much safety equipment does a cowboy have? Oh, they got some straps? Well, let's just give them that and call it a day. That's probably good.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if you're getting shot at, I'd probably rather be in this than on foot. So it's safer in that respect.
You know, Case, I'm not sure that's true, because I could hide behind a shrub, and I can't really hide behind a shrub in a completely open-topped skateboard, essentially, with 4 wheels.
But you'd be a moving target.
That's true. this vehicle is marginally faster than I could run.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Now let's talk about that. So these vehicles were deployed to many parts of the world, including some of the harshest environments on the planet, and they survived. These vehicles were known for being some of the longest lasting, most reliable vehicles in World War II. But having said that, I'm not so sure I'd want to drive this through an active war zone, because walk me through the armor.
Oh, the armor. Yeah, the armor. Well, it'd be kind of hard to shoot through that engine block up front, but basically if you're shooting at it from any other angle, there's not much stopping it.
The top, the side, the front, and the bottom are pretty vulnerable.
This is all paper thin.
Dude, yeah, I mean, this sheet metal, it's like literally the sheet of paper thin. That's where they get it from.
But what's cool about these and their time all around the world is that this kind of inspired a lot of the other iconic 4x4s that we have today. So in a big way, the original FJ40, the original Land Cruiser,
Yes.
and the original Land Rover Series 1, they were all kind of based off of this rough design, wouldn't you say?
Well, and the crazy thing is, the Jeep we know today wasn't around in 1945.
Yeah.
In fact, Jeep really didn't become a company until after the war effort. These were made by two companies during World War II, a company called Willis, or Willys, depending on how you pronounce it, and
Ford.
Ford. That's right. So Ford Motor Company built many, many, many Jeeps, and they were called GP. The GP, there's a bunch of different discussions of what that stands for, but GPW, the W stood for Willys Design.
Yeah.
Oh boy. This brake pedal squeaks, by the way, and this vehicle was made famous by the TV series MASH,
Yeah.
and in the TV series MASH, the brake pedals also squeak, so I'm not sure that's unique to this one.
Oh, funny enough, the CJ2 that I learned to drive on also has a squeaky pedal, so I don't think it's unusual at all, Tommy.
The cool thing about these Jeeps is you can genuinely drive them in 2024. I wouldn't call them fast or comfortable or refined or safe or luxurious, but they do sort of kind of keep up with traffic. Maybe not the highway we're about to merge onto, though.
Yeah, the roads that we've been on so far, no problem at all. We're not holding up traffic yet. But this is by far not the biggest road between us and the dealer.
Now, these tires are called NDTs, and they are non-directional. The idea being that whether or not you're going north, west, south, east, the enemy couldn't look at the tread and be like, that person is going in this direction. They are quite noisy, though.
Yeah, it's funny because actually the motor in this is pretty quiet, but the gear whine and the tire noise is not quiet at all.
What's funny is, like, the motors were designed to be really quiet,
Yeah.
so you couldn't hear them. Good thing they weren't going 50 miles an hour on flat pavement, because you could hear this thing from 1,000 miles away. It sounds like an entire beehive going down the road.
Yeah, even we can hear it, and that's with all the wind that we're facing right now.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're wondering about weather protection, there is a top, which is good news. It is kind of a thin veneer of fabric that more or less kind of secures to the roof of this Jeep. It is not a top as we know it today.
No, I think these look a lot better without the top on them, though.
Yeah, they do. And if we wanted to look even cooler, we could fold the windshield.
Yeah, that's true. That's an option for us. Now, I kind of wonder about that as far as legality is concerned, because at least on a motorcycle, you're supposed to have eye protection. I think you're kind of supposed to have a windshield in a car. I wonder if you would get pulled over for having your windshield down in one of these.
All right, we're going right here. In
Yeah,
a
now
second.
comes the highway.
Oh boy. It's okay, Case. I got my helmet on. I'm safe.
Oh, yeah, well, you're safe.
All right, that's 15, 16,
We're getting passed by an E36.
20, 24.
He's laughing at us.
Oh no!
Passed by a Stand Stem 3.
No turn signals. 30. Holy moly, we are hauling ass now. 32.
That's the top of second right there. What's funny too is that this plaque tells me you should be able to do 41 in second.
No way in hell are we doing 41. But we are doing 33. Engine's getting a little
man.
toasty.
Feel the suspension.
What suspension?
Yeah, not a lot of travel on this vehicle, is there? Hey, that's one of our buddies.
A new Jeep. Yeah, this is a 65-mile-an-hour road, and we're doing
Not that.
37. All right, it's leveling out here. Engine's getting quite hot now. It is almost 100
Is it?
degrees outside. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, temp-wise, we're over 200.
Yeah. Hey, Andre, we can go right here. I think it's had enough of the 100-degree temperatures. Poor
Yeah.
little guy, I don't think it's designed to go highway speeds at 100 degrees in Colorado.
No, yeah, our temp gauge, I don't think we're going to boil over or anything, but yeah, I mean, we're over 200. I don't know what these are typically happy at, but that's after 2 minutes on the highway.
Yeah, full throttle up the hill, and it is probably close to triple digits today. It's not great. So
Oh, it smells warm.
Yeah, we're gonna coast it back, and I think we stick it on the trailer because clearly 80-year-old Jeep survived some of the most notorious military confrontations in history. Not meant to go on the highway though.
No, it's not the best on the highway. I think we could get away with it, and it would probably be fine, but the dealer we're going to is about an hour away, and I don't think it would be fun for this Jeep or for us.
So we're gonna stick it on the trailer and pretend we drove it there, and then we're gonna see, is the dealer even gonna touch this Army relic?
That's right. Cut. Oh, look at that, Tommy.
Yeah.
Got it a little toasty.
So we got it back to the ranch, and it just boiled over when I turned the engine off. Once that water pump stops moving the water, it boiled over. So probably a good thing we'll stick it on the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely got warm.
Yeah, it got pretty toasty there at the end.
Yeah, so not super happy on the highway. It'll be better off getting pulled behind the Cummins.
I don't think we broke it, I just think it got hot.
Yeah, no,
It takes a lot to kill these. All right, Case, we made it. Johnson's Auto Plaza here in Brighton, Colorado.
Yeah, I don't think this is our closest dealer, but they have worked with us a good bit in the past, so we're hoping that they will work on our Jeep.
And we have come to the right place if you are a Jeep fan. We got Grand Cherokees, Wagoneers.
Got a lot of Wagoneers.
Dude, look at the Wranglers.
Oh yeah, dude.
Meet your uncle.
Oh, those are Gladiators.
Oh, those are Gladiators.
There's the
There you
Wranglers.
go. Look, this one even has the name of our Jeep on the hood.
I know. And this one doesn't even have it.
Oh gosh, wow. It's more of a Willys than this is. Now, of course, the Wrangler's gotten a little bigger and more expensive in 80 years.
A little bit.
A little bit. But let's go find the service department and see if they'll work on our military Jeep. Here we go. Johnson's, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
Yeah, it doesn't need much.
And here we are. Into service. Woo!
It's time.
Looks like the 45 is pulling up next to the brand new Jeep Grand Wagoneer Series 3. It's like a $120,000 Jeep.
Marginally more comfortable.
I mean, it's got seat belts, so that's a
It's got doors.
and a radio,
Yeah, and
and windshield wipers that aren't done by hand. So
yeah, all good
It's a
things,
luxury
some would say.
this is the definition of reliability. Not only did it survive us, it survived the previous owner and a war.
Yeah,
So I'd say we're doing pretty good.
I don't think this one saw combat, but you know, it's still pretty good, yeah.
All right, so we're trying to input the Jeep in the system. So how far back, sir, do you think you can go with the iPad system?
Year-wise, it'll let me go all the way back to 1896.
So we're good on years.
Yeah, but the VIN, it won't accept the VIN. That's going to be the only downside. So yeah, it's either 1896, and this is 48?
45.
45. Mm-hmm. Well, let's just try it this way. Let's get something going here.
Have you seen an older vehicle come into the service bay than 45?
I have not, personally.
Okay.
Nope, absolutely not.
MB. Oh my gosh.
All right.
So it has the actual military Jeep configuration in the system case.
Pretty neat. All right. What's the mileage on it?
4196. So VIN is 426809. And would now be a good time to like check for an extended warranty, or is that?
Yeah, no doubt. There's a vibration at 70 we need you to check out there. And
That's 70 kilometers an hour, because
Yeah.
miles an hour is unattainable.
Lucky to hit 50.
all right, cool.
Sweet.
All right, guys. Well, let's check in.
Nice.
Put the tag right here.
Yeah.
It was heavy.
Went in the Army in 1979, and this is what we drove.
And what did you think of them back in the day?
They were great. You couldn't get them stuck, and then the Hummer came out at the end of my career.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service. Do you have fond memories of these old Jeeps, or do you?
Spent a lot of time in these things.
Very cool.
Big wig we used to ride in this one. Here's
We're going to lift it by hand.
the number 7 means he was
Oh, yeah, this
commander.
thing's super.
Is that really what that means?
Yeah.
HQ7. Wow.
That's the headquarters. 7 means it was a commander. That's the unit designation over there. I don't know what that specific one is.
But HQ7 means that it was a bigwig.
Yeah, he's
Unreal.
commander. It could be a captain, colonel, general.
Wow, I learned something new today. That's really cool. Thank you for telling us that. I appreciate it. Have one of these ever rolled through the service bay here?
No, this is the first one.
Okay. So what do you think the oldest vehicle to come through Johnson's Auto Plaza is that you've seen?
Oh, probably a 38 GMC pickup.
Okay, so older than the
Yeah,
45.
the boss has a 38 GMC pickup with a Massey Ferguson tractor engine in it.
Yeah, very cool. So it's very standard. It's just a 3-speed, so first gear is down to your left, and then your start button is going to be way up here on the
That's the start button.
on the firewall. Yeah, so you go key on, and then there's the button way up there. It's like that new Wrangler.
It's like brand new.
No difference. Check this out. So it's just like a modern Wrangler where you can do the hood thing. There's no prop.
Oh, nice.
Coolest feature on this, I really think this was forward thinking, is they actually allow you to pull a pin here, unscrew it a little bit more, and then you can lift up your headlight. Dude, check that out so you can see what you're working on at night.
That's great.
So you really think you have an oil filter for this?
We might
Dude, unreal.
say it's one of these two here. We'll have to take it out before we check, but yeah, I think that one's probably going to be the fit right there.
And did you have to like custom order that, or did you just have that?
Oh yeah, no, we have these sitting on the shelf. Yeah,
Unreal.
ready? No, we had to order this from the parts store.
I guess one of the strange things about working on the MB for most modern dealers is I would highly doubt anything on this is metric. And I'm sure there's going to be the Jeep guy in the comments that will make sure I'm wrong, but I bet there's not a lot of metric bits on this MB.
Well, for the Jeep guy in the comments, this is a 3/4 cap right here.
Darn straight. While we're at it, Jackson, if you want to do a Hemi swap, we can get that done real quick.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move a few things to do the Hemi swap, but sure, we get that done.
Case, it's a good thing we have brought this Jeep to the professionals, because there is no way, according to the comments, we would be able to do an oil change on this.
No, very complicated job on this vehicle. I mean, look how hard it is to access the filter.
I mean, that was a 1-bolt process. We've never turned a wrench in our lives.
1 bolt too many for us.
It's a good day today.
Oil looks good.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that little handle they put on it.
Oh yeah, I don't think you could get it out of there if you didn't have that handle on there.
Yeah.
It's pretty smart. Yeah,
So like modern Jeeps though, this is a cartridge filter, just like the new 3.6 Jeep engine. So what we're gonna do here is we'll drain this out, remove the filter first so it drains into the oil pan, so then we can drain all the oil at one time.
And Jackson, on the new Wranglers, be it like a 3.6 or the 2-liter, are the oil filters pretty accessible, or is there a lot of stuff you have to do to get to them?
No, they're actually right on the top of the motor, right in the front.
Nice.
They are about 1/4 the size of this one though.
So this is like a 2.2-liter 4-cylinder. Technically, it's bigger than a new 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo in the Jeep.
And that's the smallest motor you can get in it.
Yeah, exactly. So So the actual cap and dipstick are integrated, so you can't lose your oil cap or you'd be losing your dipstick as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty clever. How does this setup compare to like a modern Wrangler? Is there anything that looks familiar between this and a JL Wrangler of today?
No.
Okay.
No.
Good.
Now let me
Good to
point
know.
out a few differences. This is a cast iron engine block. Okay, we have aluminum engine blocks today. Spark plug wires, that's been gone for a long time. We don't do that. We do what's called a cap on plug, coil on plug. So the coil is right on top of the spark plug on the new ones. And of course, there's no carburetors anymore because they're just not efficient enough for the EPA. So we have fuel injection and direct fuel injection to get better fuel economy and better emissions. Basically is what it all comes down to. Lighter weight and better emissions. Wow, that's a big drain plug we got there, guys.
That must be a good thing, right?
Well, it's going to drain very fast.
Yeah, gotta contain all that horsepower there. So what's cool about this is obviously a lot of the suspension components look very different on a modern Wrangler.
Oh yeah.
Like this runs these style springs, which are called leaf springs, whereas a modern Wrangler is going to have the traditional coils that we are known with today.
Still solid front axle though.
Yeah, but some of this is the same. I mean, the basic layout with the engine, the transmission, the transfer case, the axle design.
One thing that we don't have on a modern Jeep is that, Tommy.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what you can see here is at the end of the crank is this little post, and if you follow a straight line from that post to the bumper, there's a hole in the bumper, and the idea was if your battery was dead or your starter went out, you could actually crank start this Jeep out in the field with a handle.
Yeah, so this is a much more modern, better to drive vehicle in a lot of ways than the Model T, but you can still crank start it. Maybe we should get it. I don't think we have a crank start it with, but maybe we should get one and try it. Maybe we should give it a go.
That camera, we're going to splash some oil out. Oh yeah, there we go.
So all those comments that we're going to get on this video that say they don't make them like they used to in terms of reliability, do you agree? Do you disagree? Where do you stand on that statement?
No, I wouldn't say they don't make it like they used to. Okay, I think a new Wrangler can take a pretty good beating, first of all. Second of all, the engine has so many up-to-date components of an old vehicle and fuel economy that really when you're driving a high horsepower, high performance, high technology engine like that, I mean the parts, the engine alone must have 30 times more moving components than this engine alone. So the moving components, the bearings, the roller cams, the roller lifters, all these things are lower friction, so you get more horsepower. So sure, maybe this 60 horsepower Jeep went down the road at 40 miles an hour and has 60 horsepower. Well, now we've got 269 horsepower out of them. You can do 100 miles an hour in a Jeep. So sure, if you blow it up, maybe you blow it up, but you know, if you put 269 horsepower in this, you're going to break every bolt in it.
With a crack in half.
Yeah, so I mean, that's not really a fair statement because, yeah, they don't make them like they used to. They're not gutless like they used to. They'll flat move now.
Yeah. Our
2.0 liter turbocharger engine is crazy. It's so snappy. So that's my opinion. No, I think everything's gotten better. I love technology.
You do?
Yeah.
Even in your job, you like all the computers and the more moving components, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, here's a question. I have to ask it. This is the gotcha question. Do you think a new Wrangler will also last 80 years like the old one?
Now, all of that is 100% dependable, depending on maintenance and the driver.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you change your oil, you change your coolant, you keep it all full. Sure, you can have one around forever.
Do you think, from what you've seen, because you've worked on a lot of them, do you see like the modern Pentastars, the V6s, do they last over 200,000 miles? Do you see them come in with pretty high mileage?
My little sister has a 2014 with over 370,000 miles on it.
On the original engine?
On the original engine, and she does okay on changing the oil all the time. I've had to get in it and put a couple camshafts in it, but Yeah, no, they're great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, folks? It's not all doom and gloom. Even from a certified mechanic, the new stuff is okay. You don't have to be so freaked out about it.
All right, now we have the oil dripping real slow. It's been dripping for about 30, 40 minutes now. So we'll go ahead and cap it off and tighten up that drain plug.
Let's see if oh yeah, so it still's got some in that filter housing.
So the 9-slot Jeep here, can you tell me why they made 9 slots instead of 7 like the civilian Jeeps?
You know, that's a great question. I think the reason was, so these had smaller headlights. Yeah. And the housings are a lot smaller for where the headlights poke through. The CJ2As had actually a bigger headlight housing, and I think the reason they did 7 is just because it took away some additional space.
Well, it may just be a rumor, but I have heard that the reason the civilian Jeeps have 7 instead of 9 is because they've been on 7 continents.
Oh, I like that. Let's go with that. That's a much better reason. Yeah.
So maybe maybe your viewers will straighten us out.
Someone will drop us a comment. You're exactly right.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's suck this oil housing dry. It's gonna take a while.
So a lot of these new companies will say oil change intervals of like 8, 10, even 12,000 miles, depending on the company.
Yeah.
What do you, I mean, obviously you are going to go with what the manufacturer recommends, but on your personal vehicles, what are you comfortable with intervals on a modern car?
You know, it's a little more convenient for me to change my oil. So in fairness, I would say I don't let any of my personal Jeeps, any of my personal vehicles go more than 3,000 miles.
Okay.
Even if it's full synthetic that can go 5, 7, 10, I'm just not comfortable with it being in there that long as far as moisture buildup and things like that.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest reason, is just moisture buildup. Because they say even though you could drive it 15,000 miles maybe on, you know, some of this high performance oil, that's fine if you're going to do all that mileage in 1 year.
Right.
But every oil says to change it at that mileage or every year. So that's one thing that you've got to be careful of.
Yeah.
There's a couple of seals that are here in the kit. Where do these go?
These are going to go in the cap.
Okay.
And it's going to vary within which filter housing we have on which which seal goes on the cap. So this one's actually pretty stuck to here, and it's pretty hard. So
yeah, it looks pretty stiff.
Yeah, it's not too bad actually. Yeah. Just maybe glued on there with the oil. So that one I would say is probably too small.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And that one is probably just right. Sorry guys, no one in the middle, just wrong and right. And this filter actually has the O-rings in the center and the top.
Oh, okay.
To seal it.
Seal it against there.
Because it's going to come out of here and then into there. So we'll put this in there. I've got the new seal here.
And it's cool that the bolt stays with that cap.
Yeah, and the spring load and all that.
Does that spring just keep the filter pressed down?
Yes, that keeps it pressed down to where the oil coming from the crankcase goes through the filter.
What type of oil would you guys recommend for putting back in these?
Rotella, because it's high in zinc, since it has a lead fuel engine. And we don't know if they maybe changed these seats in the head when they rebuilt the engine to where it's unleaded fuel or not. But just in case, we want to put the best oil recommended for it.
It sounds like this takes about 5 quarts?
5 quarts if it has an oil filter, 4 quarts if it doesn't have an oil filter.
Perfect.
Is what I'm hearing.
So what do you think of people using full synthetics in older vehicles? Because I've heard some people say that sometimes it can make it leak a little bit easier if it's not what it ran from the factory, that you shouldn't run it. Do you have any particular feelings about it?
In my old Cummins, the high mileage was like with original seals. I don't personally run synthetic because that is true that the older the seals, maybe the synthetic will run. But if you've conditioned the engine with synthetic its whole life, then the conditioning's in the seals, and sometimes it doesn't leak.
Okay. So it just kind of depends on what you've been running.
But, I mean, the way I always think of it is put what factory calls for in the engine and you won't have any issues. All right, guys, so I have that full. I'm going to go ahead and prime the oil filter, and then we'll see where it's at.
So one of the cool things about this Jeep is because the starter is separate from the actual ignition switch, we can actually just put our foot on the button, spin the engine over without turning the ignition on, so we get no power to the coil and actually start the engine. Pretty cool. Nice.
We're right about on the line, so I think we should start it, let it run for a few minutes, and then we'll double check it after a startup.
You know, I know it was relatively warm already, but for an old carbureted vehicle, it starts up pretty well.
This thing's on point.
Yeah.
Very, very clean vehicle. All right, now we got a good clean read right out the fill line, the full line.
Well, Jack, thank you so much. This was a ton of fun.
Yeah,
How does this compare to a modern vehicle oil change? Pretty similar?
Pretty similar.
Yeah.
Draining the oil, changing the filter.
I haven't changed that much in 80 years, at least in terms of the process.
Exactly. Well, this is definitely the oldest Jeep I've driven.
Yeah?
For sure.
Right on.
This is very cool.
What? So what's the oldest one
You know
that you
how
own?
where this thing would look great, guys, is just
Parked
right
up here?
Oh yeah, look at this.
You guys might have to get one.
Oh yeah, look at this, guys, right next to the Charger. This is a place to be.
Yeah, I don't
Right here in
think
the
two
front.
vehicles could be more different.
Yeah. Oh boy, there's mud right there.
Oh, I think we'll be fine, especially if we can throw it into four-wheel if we
You
want
guys don't
to.
Get it dirty, dude.
Oh, we're not worried about it. It's good
All
for video.
Let's get it muddy then.
Yeah, why not?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's nothing in this.
high range.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's a nice thing about something that weighs, I think, around 2,000 pounds, a little over, compared to a brand new Jeep, which it's probably more like 5.
Yeah. So guys, this is our Johnson's Auto test track right here. When somebody says they've got a bouncy sound in a Jeep, we drive it out here.
Yeah, a couple little spots where you can kind of get articulated, load up the suspension a little.
Yeah, and see if it kind of bounces around. This one's actually pretty quiet, like a new Jeep.
I know. Yeah, you typically think of old vehicles being pretty loud and pretty clunky, and you do get some clunks in this every now and then, but the motor especially is really quiet. It just ticks along like a sewing machine.
This thing's a great vehicle.
Yeah.
All right, Case. Well, our Jeep freshly serviced and another great experience here at Johnson's Auto Plaza.
Yeah, we've got fresh oil in here. I think that means it's high time for another adventure in this Jeep.
I say we get it off-road in the next episode, but folks, big thank you once again to Johnson's Auto Plaza for making this happen, and yes, they will work on even your old cars. We'll see you guys next time. Head over to alltfl.com for the latest and greatest in new and old reviews.
See ya.